I'll have more on nuclear later in the program, but we'll have plenty tonight too on Qantas, the exit of Alan Joyce, his $24 million parachute, and now the pressure on the board about how this has been handled, the brand damage and the backlash from consumers. Lots of angles on this one, including whether or not Alan Joyce was the one who convinced the Albanese Labor government to block Qatar Airways' bid to double its flights into Australia. The opposition tested an evasive Transport Minister on this in question time today.
The circumstances could not be clearer and the Minister could not be more evasive. Mr Speaker, we need to hear from this Minister in a very direct way whether or not she met with or spoke with Alan Joyce prior to making a decision to stop Qatar flying into our country, which was of commercial benefit to Mr Joyce and to Qantas.
From my recollection, the main people lobbying me about Qatar came from Virgin and a third party into my office on behalf of Qatar. And the discussions I've had recently with Qantas have been about their concerns about our same job, same pay legislation.
Yeah, Catherine King just wanted to talk around it, didn't she? She didn't want to say directly that she did not or did speak to Alan Joyce about this decision before it happened. Anyway, there are now calls for more heads to roll at Qantas, suggestions the board should wear some of the odium that's so far only fallen on the outgoing Joyce. What did the board know about tickets sold for flights already cancelled? Why did they approve such generous bonuses for Joyce? The board might respond by trying to trim ex post facto, claw back effectively some of the millions of dollars in bonuses earmarked for Joyce on the way out the door. As a result of all this, there are even calls for the Qantas chairman, Richard Goyder, to resign. He's one of the nation's leading businessmen heading up Woodside Petroleum as well as Qantas. That may or may not be a reasonable suggestion, but let me make a cheeky aside. Goyder also chairs the AFL Commission. You know, that's the mob that allowed this atrociously incorrect call to go unchecked and unchanged, thereby taking a final spot earned by the Adelaide Crows and giving it to the South Melbourne Football Club, often known as the Sydney Swans. The national carrier is one thing, but Goyder needs to knock the AFL into shape or move on. None of us in footy would hold a grudge, would we?